Has the release of the new Suunto Ocean fundamentally changed the dive computer landscape? Well, let's find out. Hey guys, you're with me, Kevin, your scuba professional, and today I'm super excited because we're going to do a deep dive into the Suunto Ocean Multisport and Dive Computer. The first thing I noticed when I took this out was it is a super slick design. For all the functionality that this unit has got to be crammed into such a small and light and comfortable to wear unit, I found amazing. I've worn multiple sports watches and dive computers, and this by far is one of the lightest and about the thinnest and most comfortable that I've worn. Not only does this do everything from a dive computer's point of view, but it does pretty much every single sport you can think of, and we'll go into that in a little bit more detail shortly. To look at the screen, it comes with the new OLED screen, so you can see there's a lot of real estate there to get all the information onto the screen itself. It's got the heart rate monitor, wrist-based heart rate monitor at the back, so you can monitor your heart rate while you've got it on your wrist. It's also compatible with the chest strap heart rate monitor, and you can sync up to 5 air tank pods to this unit. It is known as a recreational dive computer. So you can do single gas and nitrox on this computer, as well as multi-gas of up to 5 gas mixes on nitrox up to percentages of 100%. So to note, it is not a full trimix tech or rebreather dive computer, but to be honest, I found that these smaller units just cannot give you the amount of information you need as a full tech diver when you've got that functionality. You need something much bigger like a Suunto Eon or one of the SCUBA Pro G2s that have got a lot more space and real estate put out on the screen to have that information. But from the recreational dive point, for diving nitrox, this is perfect. If you were going to be doing the equivalent of a Tech 40 course, or in other training organizations, they call it advanced nitrox, that's where you are doing deco dives at 40 meters and then using higher percentages of nitrox as you come to the surface of up to 100%, then this is the perfect unit for you, because the new algorithms that's got into it will suggest the best gas mix for the depth that you're at, and it's super easy to swap between the two. The strap that it comes with is Suunto's standard rubber strap, which is designed specifically for scuba diving. You do get other straps from Suunto for the multi-sports. There's leather ones, material ones, some really funky ones that you can use to wear this as a dress watch as well if you want to move away from the black. The unit also comes in 3 different colors. You've got the all black unit, and then you've got the silver and black, and then what they call a sand color. So the back section over here is sort of like a sandy color. It comes with a sand strap, which you can swap out as well. So let me just go into the top things that I like about this computer as a dive professional before we get into the more in-depth functions that this unit has. The number one thing I like about the new Suunto Ocean is the price. Because for a multi-sports watch that does everything including diving, that's priced at half that of the Garmin units, I think here we've got an absolute win, because nothing on the market touches this functionality from this particular price point of view. The second thing I like about this dive computer is its battery life. It can get up to 27 days on a single charge if it's in standard watch mode. I've been fiddling with this unit over the past few days, taken it for a few test dives, done a bit of sports with it, connected it to my watch on and off, and over about a 4-day period, I'm currently sitting on 75% battery now. So I've used about 25% battery while testing it and walking around. So that shows me that this gives a really good battery life. If you were to compare this to some of the other sports watches that are out there, say the SCUBA Pro G3 computer, which is normally only giving you 3 to 4 days before you need to charge it, this is an absolute win. Suunto have also confirmed to me that although this is a rechargeable unit, when the battery cell goes dead, should that happen in the first 2 years, they will cover it under warranty. But thereafter, you can replace the battery cell. So they can open it up and replace the battery. This is very different to a lot of other rechargeable dive computers that are out there, that when the cell goes dead, unfortunately, you have to trade the computer in and purchase a new unit. Charging of the unit is super simple. It comes with Suunto's magnetic charger, so that literally just clips on via a USB that you can put into a good quality charger, whether your laptop or your cell phone or iPad charger, and the little magnetic clip there is super easy. You don't have to worry about any crocodile clips or anything else. The third really funky feature that this unit's got, specifically from a dive instructor point of view, is dive start depth. So within the settings, I can tell the computer what depth I want the dive to physically start. So you can set it as shallow as 1.2 meters up to 3 meters. So if you as an instructor are working in the swimming pool and you don't want this unit to keep ticking into dive mode and logging dives, you just set its dive depth to be deeper than the swimming pool itself, and you're not going to be logging hundreds of pool dives. That'll also go a long way to prolong the battery life if you're out diving. And then when you hit the ocean, as soon as you go past your 3 meter mark, it kicks into dive mode and your dive begins. The fourth, and actually my favorite feature of this new unit, is the GPS and route tracking feature that they've incorporated with this unit as far as their app is concerned. And we're going to dive into it in a short while with more graphics to show you. But essentially, when you go down on your dive, via the built-in compass, gyroscope, and motion detectors, it is able to plot how and where you're moving through the water. And then when you get out, you can then have a look at a 3D graphic of the actual dive route that you followed. It also has a GPS location and marking function, so you can mark your entry and exit points if you're doing shore entries, or even out in the ocean, if you end your dive on a really great piece of reef, or let's say you drift off the reef and you find a new exotic wreck and you want to mark that, you come to the surface and you can mark that location point. So I think that is really, really cool. I don't believe the functionality is strong enough for you to go diving in a cave and go map that system out. However, from an open water point of view, I think that's a great functionality to give a general overview of how you moved around the reef system. So let's take a deep dive into the Suunto Ocean's features. Starting with battery life. The Suunto Ocean can be in continuous dive mode for 40 up to 60 hours of continuous use before it needs a charge. They say it can also do up to 25 dives before you need a charge as well. Daily usage has been said to be around 16 days if you've got it integrated with Bluetooth to your phone, with all the other activities that you're doing, and you can track your daily heart rate, activity tracking, sleep, and get notifications sent to your phone. From an outdoor point of view, you get up to 50 hours of continual use. That would be if it was in one of the sport modes, cycling, running, or one of the other multitude. They've got 95 plus sports loaded on the Suunto Ocean that you could keep using it for. And that would be using the GNSS tracking and its best accuracy. The Suunto Ocean has got really great readability. There's been improved fonts put on the unit to make it super easy to read. It's got a 1.4-inch screen, which covers the entire screen watch face itself. So it goes right to the very edge. There's no thick bezel on the end. You've got active brightness adjustments where you can set the brightness both while diving and when outside of dive functions. You can choose the brightness settings you want it to go to. And it's got a clear menu structure. To go in and out via its 3-button control is super easy. The middle one goes into menus and then you have an up and down, and it's very easy to get back. I've been able to navigate this unit without once referring to the instruction manual. From a dive point of view, the single gas mode on the Suunto Ocean is going to be used most often by divers. That will allow us to dive on normal air or a standard nitrox mix. One of the benefits this unit has is a favorite gases or most used gases settings. So if your dive center is always giving you a 32 or a 33% nitrox mix, you can save that in favorites and just go in and click it before each dive, as opposed to going in and resetting the nitrox percentage from 21% plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 every single time you go diving, like you have to with most other dive computers. The other thing the unit has is permanent decompression info on the screen. So your no deco time is shown on the left-hand side of the screen, and it's very bright and clear. You've got a color-coded scent rate. So in the middle of the unit, you can see those green arrows, and they go up and down based on the ascent rate that you're doing. And you can switch windows. So by pushing the middle button on the right-hand side, you can draw up more information, which will allow you access to temperature, tank pressure, time, gas consumption, gas time, your maximum operating depth, as well as going into your compass mode. From a multi-gas mode, the Suunto Ocean has definitely got you covered. As mentioned earlier, you can put up to 5 different gas mixes on this unit, and you can have gas mixes from 21% all the way up to 100% oxygen or nitrox mix, and the unit will give you the preferred gas for the depth that you are at based on your dive profile. So you've got a stepped continuous profile. It will give you time to surface in the arch, so it will show you how long it will be before you get to the surface, and it'll give you a ceiling value in its switch field. It also gives you a no lockout if the ceiling is broken. Extensive alarm options are the other thing which is really great about this unit. So you can choose an NDL alarm, your no decompression alarm, as to when you get within 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or super close to your NDL time. You can set a depth and dive time alarm. So if you only wanted your dive to run for 30, 40 or 45 minutes, it will let you know. You've got your gas alarms when you get to lower gas pressures in your cylinders, and you've also got an ascent speed alarm. We can pair up to 5 tank pods with the Suunto Ocean. And each one of those pods will feed information to your Suunto Ocean unit, giving tank pressure data, tank pressure alarms, and you can set from 50 bar and configurable as to where you want those alarms to go off. It will give you real-time gas consumption from each tank pod during the dive. It'll give you total gas time that you have left, or equivalent to your SAC rate or surface air consumption rate. And you can also analyze your data in the Suunto app after the dive. Going beyond diving, the Suunto Ocean is really great for free divers because it's got some awesome functions and a very good sampling rate. You get a clear and simple dive view when in free dive mode. The screen is a lot less cluttered compared to dive mode. You've got multiple above surface views, including a GPS to let you know where you are, as well as access to your compass. You've got ascent and descent speed, and you've got dive alarms during the dive itself, and you have a stopwatch timer, all within the free dive mode section. From the GPS point of view, you can save your dive location, so your entry and exit points can be logged via the unit itself, so you can return to that spot if you want to dive there again, either if that's a shore entry where you've got a really easy access point, or if it's the end of the dive, if you had drifted off the reef and let's say you found that secret mysterious wreck, and you can now log that point to go dive it again in the future. The dive route tracking is really funky as far as this unit's concerned, and I mean funky in a good way. You can track your dive via the compass, the gyroscopes, and the motion detectors within the unit itself that can tell you as you're going up and down and around the dive site itself. And within the Suunto app, it'll build a 3D graphic of how you went and moved on the dive itself and around the reef system. Via the Suunto app, you can get some really detailed and good dive log and history information. Via the new interface that they've got, you can get all the information in one place. You get an improved summary of the dive, from dive time to average depth to surface time to start pressure to used pressure to maximum depth water pressure, gas type, end pressure and gas consumption, or your sack rate as you are on the dive, as well as a graphic of the dive profile itself. So it gives you all the scuba stats and dive history in one clear, easy to read location within the app itself. Just remember, if this unit has caught your attention, check out the links in the description below where you can purchase your unit via any one of our affiliate links below. From a sports point of view, the unit boasts more than 95 individual sports that are listed standard within the unit itself. It does everything from trail running to swimming to cycling to running. I've even seen ice skating built into it, keeping in mind this is a Finnish company and they take their ice skating super seriously. Now that we've gone through most of the functions that the Suunto Ocean can give us, let's zoom on in to get a close look at how we navigate through the unit itself. You can see just how big the screen is and how much real estate you have for information. If we turn it ever so slightly, you can see it's got a nice angle to this bezel. This is the silver unit. If you were to get the all black, this bezel would be black, and so would the base of the unit itself. If you were going to get the sand colored one, this section over here would be the sand color. On the back, you can see the wrist-based heart rate monitor over there, and then the lights that are coming on, that is tracking your blood oxygen and VO2 max levels. The unit strap can be removed very simply by just pushing these little clips to the side, and you can use or replace your straps if you wanted to go for one of the material leather or one of the other sport straps. You can see we've got the 3-button navigation. You've got your middle to go into menus, and then you'll scroll up and you'll scroll down. So let's activate the screen. This is the most information packed of the screens on the Suunto Ocean. I've selected it on purpose just so you can see. We've got our time of day, you've got your steps, you've got the date, you've got your battery power, your surface interval over there. You see it turns off to save the battery. But if I scroll down, I can go into my widgets. So I've got my control panel, my logbook, timer, notifications, heart rate, blood oxygen levels, resources, sunset, weather, stress and calories, the altimeter where we are, sleep tracking, the compass. If I want to go into that, we'll do that really quickly. So you can see the bearings of your compass. That's quite easy to read. You've got your media controllers for you to put your music and sync your headphones, your recovery heart rates, recovery training, progress. You've got maps, so if we go in there, it'll search for the map location. Currently, I'm offline over here, so I'm just going to go back out of that. But if it was syncing to my phone, I'd have full access to it. My scuba stats and my freediving stats. So I'm just going to go right back to the top again, and we'll go back to the watch function all the way up there. And if I push the top button, I'll get into my dive functions. So there I've got for scuba diving, I can select these widgets, move around. We were practicing a bit of yoga and Pilates earlier. I've got multi-gas, single gas, free diving, trail running, cycling, running, pool swimming, hiking. There's over 95 of these here. It just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. I mean, there's even hiking, and I even saw ice skating was on one of these, roller skiing. It's all in there. So more sports than you can poke a stick at. From a recreational scuba diving point of view, the single gas mode is the mode that we'll be using most often. So let's go into those settings. I just toggle my right-hand button, and that brings me to my pre-dive screen. So I can see my time of day, what the heart rate monitor is on the back of the watch, how many hours of battery I left, my maximum operating depth that tells me that I'm on air, my partial pressure, and then I've got all my different settings. Over here, I can toggle between single gas and multi-gas if I chose to do so. We're just going to leave it in single gas. My next setting further down, I can change my gas settings. So there it says air, but on the inside, I can choose to add a new favorite gas, or I can add or edit my existing gas. So this is air, partial pressure 1.4, the maximum operating depth, but I can go into the setting and I can change it for my nitrox setting. I can go up to my 32% mix, and you can see my maximum operating depth changes as I change my percentage, and I can also edit my partial pressure of oxygen as I so choose. Partial pressure set to standard of 1.4. I'll leave it set at that. I can choose my tank size, a 10 litre, a 12 litre, or a 15 litre tank, and I can link or delink my tank pod from here. So I can go back out of that section, up one more to go back. Algorithm, let's jump in there. It tells me I'm on the Ballman 16 gradient factor. I can edit my gradient factors here as to whether I want a more conservative or a more aggressive gradient factor when my diving is concerned. It's set quite conservative there, so I'll leave it as a standard. Altitude. Surprisingly, this unit, although it has a built-in barometer, needs to be told when it's diving at altitude. So if I click into this section and I need to go to a higher altitude, like where I am in Johannesburg, South Africa at the moment, I would set that to my 1500 meters, or if I was even higher in the mountains, I could change that. I'll leave it at the ocean for the moment, 0 to 300, but just to remember, you need to manually set your dive altitudes. Your deco profiles, you can set those to stepped or curved, your safety stop, and then your last deco stop. If you wanted to add in a deep stop as well, you change those settings over there. We've got our alarms. So within the alarms, I can set a depth alarm, a dive time alarm, or a tank pressure alarm, and that's easy to set in those sections. I can link up my tank pods, up to 5 of them, and I've got further dive settings further in where I can turn the wrist-based heart rate monitor on or off. I can turn the GPS on or off, and I can turn dive route on or off. That's where it gives me the funky little ups and downs of the dive to give me that 3D graphic on the Suunto app. My dive start depth, we discussed that early. That's quite funky where I can go in to change it. If I was in the swimming pool and I only wanted dives to start beyond 2 meters, if my pool was only 2 meters deep, I'd set it to a 2.1, then it would only go into dive mode from 2.1 to avoid us logging all those pool dives. I've got dive end time. So if I was coming to the surface as an instructor and spending like a few seconds with a student to stop it from breaking that dive, I can change the amount of time I want it in between dives before it breaks it. I can set my brightness of my screen from low, medium to high. And this is quite a funky one, dive feeling. So if I turn that on or off, when I leave it on, at the end of the dive, it asks, how was your dive? Was it excellent, outstanding? Did you have fun? Was it okay? Was it average or was it poor? So that's quite a nice little funky thing that they've put in there for our dive ratings. And then if I go all the way back up over here to my pre-dive screen, I can activate the actual dive screen itself by pushing the right hand button, and this is all the information I need on my dive. It's got the actual depth that I'm at, it's got my dive time when I'm underwater, how long I've been there. Currently it's showing my surface interval since last dive, but when I'm underwater this shows me remaining bottom time. Then I've got my temperature at the bottom and this graphic on the outside which I can toggle between on or off. I'm just going to go back in there to turn it back on. And then on the bottom section, I have my additional info. So this is my temperature, but if I push the bottom right hand button, it goes to maximum depth. It'll give me current time of day, gives me battery remaining, tank pressure in my tank pod, gas consumption, my liters per minute per surface air consumption. I've got my gas times, how much longer I can spend underwater based on the current gas and breathing rate. Tells me about my safety stop. I can set whether I'm on air, it lets me know if I'm on air or nitrox. And then my PPO2, partial pressure of oxygen, 0.21 bar. It'll tell me what percentages we're diving on there. And then back to temperature. If I wanted to lock the screen so it wouldn't change out of that, I'll hold my bottom right hand button for a few seconds and then it'll tell me that it locked. So if I push any one of these buttons now, it's locked in that screen. To exit it, all I do is I hold the bottom right hand button for a few seconds and it unlocks me. So now I can access the main functions again. To go back out of dive mode, I will just push the button, that'll bring me to my pre-dive section, and I'll hold it in one more time to get me out of the dive mode, and I'll scroll down to get back to time. So there you have it, the new Suunto Ocean Dive Computer. For the price, absolutely nothing touches this unit in this segment of the market. So to answer your question, yes, this dive computer definitely changes the playing field as far as dive computers are concerned.